Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Talladega Super Speedway for what is guaranteed to be one of the more exciting races on the 2016 racing calendar. It is the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series Alabama 200. We're happy to have you with us as every Sunday night right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Evan Pasoko and Andy Kessler topside with you for the Alabama 200. 78 laps at the 2.66 mile super speedway, otherwise known as Dega. And if you're constants here with us at LSRTV, you'll know we know a thing or two about these plate tracks, and they are guaranteed to be unpredictable. Right now, the drivers rounding up and finishing up their 10-minute qualifying session before we let them go for 78 laps. Tonight, going to be 207 miles start to finish, and you know, we can take a look at the championship standings, which is a very big conversation, considering outside of tonight, just two races, Andy, going to be left in this opening stint in 2016. But there's really not a whole lot you can really debrief before a race like this at Talladega.
No, I mean, listen, when you come to a race like this, it's basically the great equalizer when you talk about it, Evan. Everybody in this race has an opportunity. We're going to see guys coming and going to the front, to the back. It's going to all change up. Green flag pit stops are going to change everything. It's anybody's race here tonight, and which is a kind of a neat thing. And it started off this season, though, of course, Ray Alfala. It's what started his run of 5 wins he's got so far in the first 9 races, I should say. He's gotten it done basically 50% of the time. It all started here in Daytona on race number 1. So it is anybody's game, though, and I like that fact of it. And we should see a lot of different names, I think, up towards the front.
It's interesting. We talk about how these plate track races always going to be the great equalizer. Anybody can get to victory lane. And then the guy that has 5 wins on the season just happened to win the one and only plate track race that we've seen so far at Daytona International Speedway. We've gone 2 weeks, though, with a Ray Alfala win. First time we've seen that this year. Adam Gilliland 2 weeks ago at Bristol. Matt Busa just 1 week ago at Richmond International Raceway. You do have to note, though, that Ray Alfala back-to-back second-place finishes, and he is well in control of this Segment 1 championship, Andy. 61 points out of this thing to Busa, Woods, Benefiel, and Jordy Lopez Jr., who sit in the top 5 in the championship. Well, tonight might bring him a little bit back down to earth if he finds some problems. He's sitting pretty comfortable with 3 races to go in the opening segment on 2016. Qualifying just about wrapped up, so as always, we'll toss things down trackside with Jaden Berkey for the performance of tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We're back live at the Talladega Super Speedway. Big thanks to Jaden Berkey for the performance of tonight's national anthem. As always, a call to the virtual Thunderbirds for the flyover. That means it's race time. Let's take a look trackside to your ProGeek Consulted starting grid for the ProGeek Cup Alabama 200. Pole position going to be a nice seat for Mitchell Hunt to sit in, the number 71 with a 57.40. He'll drop the green flag alongside with Josh Parker on the front row in second. A good qualifying effort for the number 18 entry. Joshua Hanner, no stranger to these super speedways. He'll start in third today at a single car qualifying session, and he'll be joined by championship leader, the 27 Ray Alfala, who is in search of his 6th win in 10 starts. And just behind him, winner from 1 week ago, you want to talk about a change. He won it at the 3/4 mile Richmond International Raceway. He's going to try to win it at the 2.66 mile Talladega Super Speedway. Busa is in P5.
Starting in that 6th position outside of row number 3, that's going to be the 80 of John Gorlinski. A good qualifying effort for the starter in the 7th spot, Jordan Hightower. Matt Quick, another non-stranger to the super speedways. He will start in the 8th spot. 9th goes to Chase Cabry, and Chad Coleman will round out our top 10.
Just behind them, E.J. O'Rourke coming home in P11. Garrett Smithley going to roll from the grid in P12, and I also think that's where he finished in Saturday's NASCAR Xfinity Series race right here at Talladega Super Speedway. He'll be to the outside of row number 6. 13th tonight, going to go to the 14 to Matthew Moose. Bentley Glazer will start alongside him at 14th. They're rounding out your top 15. The driver, despite only having 7 starts, who's top 5 in the points, Jordy Lopez Jr. to the inside of the next row.
16th starter will be the 51 of Justin Fuller. Tyler Dalton will start 17th. 18th goes to Joseph Gulata. Kenny Baum Jr. will start in the 19th spot, and Jesse Kovacs rolls off 20th.
Behind him in 21st position, and still, by the way, in the 50.7 bracket, 21st, Casey Tucker. Josh Jones, 22nd. Adam Benefield, 23rd. So the top 23 within 1/10 of a second of each other. It's a 50.801 for 24th place starter Tyler Tucker, and Rich Jett back in 25th.
26 goes to the 9 of Austin Jones. John Wilco will start 27th, last car to take qualifying here on the night. Timmy Hill will start in that 28th spot. 29th goes to Adam Gillen. 30th to Trey Edson. J.D. Laird, 31st. Doy Woods, 32nd. And Matthew Chafee will round out this 33-car field here tonight.
The big field, and you know what that means at Talladega, that you can expect these guys to be too wide for the majority of this thing. Not a lot of single file, very common to this league. If you look back to what we saw at Daytona International Speedway, what seems just like a couple of weeks ago, in reality, 2.5 months ago, when we kicked off this championship campaign, and for the 10th race on the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series, closing in on, as we mentioned, the end of the opening segment in 2016. And if they want to race like you saw the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series guys do a little bit earlier on, just remember we don't have the 200-mile-an-hour duct tape to piece these things back together. You want to keep that car in one piece, be there late, and come lap 75, 76, 77, and then 78, you want to be in the conversation to battle for the checkered flag. The pace car down and in, and we're happy to have you with us at LSRTV and iRacing Live. American Ethanol, green flag waves for Mitchell Hunt and underway for the Talladega Super Speedway. Round 10 is green, and a big gap behind your leader for the 18 to Josh Parker to slot down in line. A big gap for Ray Alfala to slot down in line. In fact, everybody single file inside of the top 7, minus that 80 of John Gorlinski stuck to the high side of it too.
Yeah, the first racing we'll see is just behind him. Chase Cabry on the inside. He's got Matt Quick to the outside. Kind of a sluggish start, it seemed, for everybody. Just everyone wanting to take it easy there. As you see Cabry now go to the outside, right up in front of that 89 machine of Matt Quick. And those guys trying to make something happen with that outside line. Although everybody here, 78 laps scheduled distance here tonight. You know, it's going to be a little calm before the storm here in the opening laps. Everyone trying to take it easy, make sure they can make it to the end and be there when it matters the most.
And you see that 80, really the ultimate goal to find the spot on line. He does so, starting to the outside of row 3 into P6. He really only loses the spot to Jordan Hightower's number 22 machine. 80 gets in behind, but the 22 going to go up the racetrack. A Toyota of Matt Busa going to be working with that Ford of Hightower. They jump to the outside of the racetrack, and at least right now, the only drivers inside of the top 10 are trying and thinking about some 2-wide. 2-wide deeper in the pack, back by the 40 machine, Jordy Lopez Jr. That's back at 14th. But you see that outside lane start to form up. There is no question the inside the place to be, getting up to speed. But as we mentioned, the side draft is so good on this current build model that we're seeing on the iRacing service that outside lane, it comes into play right off the gate. And you see that 34 pinch down a little bit. You see the guys on the inside go all the way to that yellow line in that 4th lane that pops up at the center of the tri-oval. 3 laps complete, 3 laps in back pocket for Mitchell Hunt up front. 34 bringing the challenge to 3rd. Don't be surprised if Parker or Hanner jump on it and go to the outside of the racetrack instead of riding. We'll see. Normally they're going to try to take advantage of the momentum. The outside lane kind of stalls out, but we do have 5 cars. Now 6 cars if you want to toss the 2 of Chase Cabrey in the mix as well. So they're there. You just got to get a little bit tighter to start moving.
Yeah, they're definitely just trying to form things up early on right now, I think, is what the, trying to figure out what they're going to do, where they're going to run. Seems everybody trying to come back down into that bottom lane right now when they see that top lane kind of stall out. Exactly what they're doing there. Matt Quick back to the bottom side, trying to make work of that 22 and 34 right now and get back up to that bumper of John Gorlinski. Top 4, though, they're kind of breaking away just a bit. Of course, that won't happen for long once the draft sucks these guys back in like it does right there in 1 and 2. Gorlinski now going to go to the high side with that run he had on Alfala. Going to add 1 more car now to that top side, try to get some momentum as they battle their way down the backstretch.
Yeah, that's the key factor, and you lost, up at the front of that pack. Now you got Gorlinski in front of them, took advantage of it, jumped up at the front, and nobody wants to be the first one to go. So you saw the 34 the 22 go together. They had 6 or 7 cars up there, but they weren't really tight. Look at the guys on the inside of the racetrack, nose to tail, all in a line. It's Hunt led by then the 18 of Josh Parker, then the 24 of Joshua Hander. There's not a lot of space between those guys on the inside. The outside going to get tightened up. There's no doubt about it. It's just going to take a couple of laps for that momentum to build back into their favor, and then they're going to make a run at it, fall back a little bit, make a run at it. They're not going to be able to stay constantly side by side unless you're talking about late in the race where nobody's lifting, and they're going to be pushing all these cars till they blow up. But that 18 to Josh Parker, give him credit. He's given a whale of a push to the inside, keeping their momentum up. And Matt Quick going to swing to the outside of the racetrack. Let's see what the 89 machine can do as he now leads the outside charge in front of the 80.
Well, that outside lane has gained a bunch of followers now, a whole bunch of them. 51, Fuller, O'Rourke, 86 of Gulata, all those guys going up to the high side, including Jordy Lopez in that picture as well. So now you got numbers on that high side, and I think Matt Quick in that 89 chose the right time to go up. Look at that, though. Here comes Josh Parker. He decides to join the party up on the high side, and they're all looking to overtake that 71 machine as they exit turn number 2.
And they're close, but not quite. I did say look for the 24, the 18 to jump at a line. So Josh Parker, sure, he's been helping out the 70 with a bunch of Hunt. There's no loyalty, though, amongst these guys because in reality, if you're helping somebody, you're really just looking for a little bit of help for yourself. And especially getting down to the end of this, well, we haven't seen team cars be able to control the pace of this race quite yet. Keep a look, though, for some of those bigger contingencies to find each other and work together, even in the final 5 laps. That really doesn't mean anything. And you see Parker so close to getting clear. The problem is when you're working that side draft and then you get out in front, it works against you. But one more push from the 89. Going to get Josh Parker in front of the field, and for the first time, lap 6 goes to the book. New race leader, the 18 on the outside of the racetrack. He jumps right back down to the bottom. The bottom, the lane that you just like to ride in. So the 18 content with where he is now, and you have to expect the next challenge to come from the outside of the racetrack. The 89 of Matt Quick, the 80 of John Gorlinski, and the 34 of Matt Busa. You throw the 22 at mix as well, Jordan Hightower. Then you got names like Justin Fuller, the 41 of EJ O'Rourke working on the outside of the racetrack. They haven't quite gotten up there, but like we said, that outside lane momentum going to come in spurts, and that last time Josh Parker jumped on it would come by to take his second lap lead.
They did a great job getting down to that bottom side right in front of Mitchell Hunt. Nothing Mitchell Hunt could do at that point, because when he loses that guy right directly behind him, his speed obviously goes down, and that's what gave that top side that momentum. Look at the run, though, right now, currently going through 1 and 2. 89 and Matt Quick on the top side, getting a good push right there from John Gorlinski. It's going to stall out just a bit because of the separation those guys have amongst them, but give the good battle now. Look at Josh Parker go way up there, trying to cut the momentum off of that 89 as they head into turn number 3. Some close racing right now between the top runners as they go right now. 2x2 though, all by pretty much throughout the field right now. Everybody all within that 1 second from each other, and great job so far. Everyone keeping it clean here on lap number 8. You can see everybody in that mix just trying to figure out which line they want to work with, which line they want to be in, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that 71, maybe even the 24, Josh Hanner push up to the outside and maybe catch that run and get back to that race lead.
And he wants to get back up to where he was, and staying in line for the moment might be the better idea. How about some 3 wide? They're going to really fan out at a quarter number 2. That's Hunt going right back up. He wanted to go back to the race lead. I'm not sure the thought process behind John Gorlinski going to the 3rd lane. Very seldomly do you see that outside lane of the racetrack work, and you can just see with only 2 cars up there, it's not going to fly. They're going to have to come back down to the inside. Really, the person that doesn't benefit at all is Mitchell Hunt, because the outside had a momentum. He jumped up just as they all got discombobulated. So the 80 to 34 way up there, they're not giving up. They want that 3rd lane to work. They've got Justin Fuller coming with them. I'd be surprised if they stick it out up there, but they're not giving up. And Gorlinski, who brought them all up to the 3rd lane, he's going to leave them up there.
Yeah, he's going to leave him up there. His opportunity to get back down to that middle lane was closing in a hurry right now. Kind of peeking out right now. Not too much he can do at the current moment. Not enough of a run right there with that 1 car up there on the high side with the 34, Matt Busa. So he decides to stay back in line. Now Matt Busa and Justin Fuller nowhere to come down back in the line here. So those drivers are going to have to fall all the way back to the tail end of the field, and not a good start, I would say, for those guys. Wanted to test the waters. They did, but it didn't work this time, and we got a drag race for that top spot now up front. Mitchell Hunt to the outside.
And just picture that kind of a finish, but 3 or 4 more lanes interjected by 1/100th of a second. Josh Parker on the inside. He's able to hang on now 11 laps in of the 78 laps on tap tonight at Talladega, and it has been a 2-horse race up front. Parker, who started second, and Mitchell Hunt, who led the opening 6, who started in first. They've been 1-2 for the majority of this thing, and again, when you're 2 wide, it's hard for anybody to get around them. If you're that 89 of Matt Quick, if you wanted to get to the race lead, you had to get Parker out of your way. So you push him to the race lead, and then you say, okay, my turn. Somebody give me a shove. It doesn't help when that 71 of Mitchell Hunt jumps right back up in front of you, but nonetheless, he kind of keeps that 89 at bay. The problem you see here is going to be for guys deeper in the pack as they go 3 wide a little bit more, this time to the outside. The 85 Toyota, Ken Baum Jr., and second time up to that 3rd lane for the 80 of John Gorlinski. That looks like it's only going to cost him some spots unless he can find some help.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a bunch of spots right now. Nowhere to get in the line. Another car also with the same problem a little further back. Kenny Baum Jr. in that 85 machine, that brightly colored yellow machine as well. He's going to fall to the back. The 51 of Justin Fuller, though, almost looked like he was going to go help John Gorlinski, and chose better of it. Got down to the bottom side. Oh, a little checkup right there with the 9. Looking through the middle now, 3 wide for that position in the top 10. It's getting awfully close right there. That's Austin Jones right there in the middle, and it's going to hurt him, I think, at this point. No one to help him. He's got the 40, the 51, and the 12 to his outside, and those guys almost ganging up on that 9 right now, but he should be able to keep that draft to that 41 and keep himself up there right now. But those 3 on the top, Fuller, he's going to drop back down in line. That's going to leave that Lopez machine, the 40, up top all by himself. No help on turn 2.
They were moving, coming through the corner into 1 and 2. 1 car out of line. The 20 of Chad Coleman jumps below the yellow line. He will go backwards, but he needs a spot in line. You can go down there as long as you're not advancing your position. 4 wide with the 71, the 40, the 86, and the 43. To the innermost of all of that is the 43 of Garrett Smithley, up 5 spots from the drop of the green flag. And on the back bumper of Ray Alfala, the 27. He and that 43 been working together a little bit since the start of this race. Josh Hanner goes to lead a lap. Not going to happen. Parker remains in front, and Jordan Hightower way up against the fence again. A lot of guys jumping out to that 3rd lane, and I don't think really they have a realistic expectation of that working. It looks like Jordan Hightower just trying to get out of there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure exactly why those guys keep pushing up there, but look at up front. Some different names up there. One of them being Garrett Smithley, starting in that 12th spot, all the way up to 3rd currently right now into turn number 3, and he has not wavered at all. Went right to the bottom lane, right off the start and just stayed there. And basically, as everybody cycled through and went all different directions, he's found himself now in that third spot, actually side by side now with that 24 machine of Josh Hanner, and you'll see the 89 of Matt Quick, two guys that used to run in the Super Speedway Series together. So those guys definitely not shy when it comes to the restrictor place racing, and not surprised at all by you or myself to see these guys up front battling like they are, and they're making a run for it now off turn 2.
Too wide, about 6 rows deep, coming off the corner, and the run off the 24 degrees of banking. First time tonight, Joshua Hanner going to go to the top spot. The number 24 Ford goes out in front of the field for the first time tonight. That's the Slip Angle Motorsports entry, and we will see, we were talking about teammates a little bit. Alfala not all that far back, and the 18 in the middle of them right now, keeping them from working together. So now Matt Quick wants his shot. He pushed, if you remember, Parker to the race lead, Andy. Said it's my turn. He once again had your pole sitter then jump up in front of him, who, by the way, Mitchell Hunt, way down in the 23rd position at this juncture in this race. And then the 24 jumped up in front of him. So the 89, he's been giving out a lot of assists. Tonight he wants a shot of his own. He's got a good pusher behind him in Joseph Galota, but they don't have, again, the 3-4 cars all stacked up. You see the 41 right there of E.J. O'Rourke, the 51 of Fuller. They got to be a little bit tighter if they want to be able to complete that pass. 89 knows the advantage into 3, but the inside takes that right back once they dive down in the center.
Yeah, they do. It's all about timing coming off the corners, and if you can get on that back bumper right before the exit of the corner, it usually gives you enough momentum to push that guy in the front on the top side around that bottom lane, but just takes too long right there. He doesn't get to the back bumper until about the start-finish line right there, so we'll see if he gets him enough push. It does, actually. Look at the 89, Matt Quick, a great run right there with Joseph Galata's help. That's going to drop Matt Quick now to the top spot there on that bottom lane and give him an opportunity to lead a lap if he can make it around back now. But E.J. O'Rourke and Joseph Galata, they got another thing said about that. Look, Joshua Hanner, though, right to that back bumper of the 89. He gives him a shove heading into turn number 3, and at least for now, they can defend that spot.
Yeah, for now, they can attempt to. You see a gap, though, behind the 24. The 89-24 are going to slide back just a little bit. The outside, something that they would like to jump on top of, not going to happen. How about that 9, though, of Austin Jones? We mentioned him because he was in a really bad spot in the center of some 3 wide. Well, he's doing pretty good, all things considered. He's up 16 positions from the start of the race. In fact, make it now 18 from 26th to 8th inside of the top 10 at a 4th driver in line on the outside with a push coming from Jordy Lopez Jr., who I mentioned earlier. He's the only driver in the top 10 in the championship, Andy, that has not started all 9 races. In fact, he's only started 7, and he's 5th overall with an average finish of a 7.6, and as well, a trip to victory lane. Looking to get a second one here tonight, and the outside seems to be the lane that's moving. A big run for that 86 Galota as Quick now dives to the inside of the racetrack. Drag race for the battle for the race lead.
It is a drag race. It's actually a drag race to who can get to the back bumper the quickest. Look at E.J. O'Rourke give that shot there to Joseph Galata. Might give him the opportunity to be able to pull down. It looks like he's clear for the time being. Does he come down, or does he help E.J. O'Rourke to the front? And it looks like he will stay up there, at least for the time being right now. And looks like he wants to help out that driver right behind him, help out the guy who gave him the shot, but it's going to allow the bottom side to gain some momentum back here as Josh Hanner gets back to the bumper of that 89 of Matt Quick, gives him the shot, gives him up there, and now he's not clear. So Joseph Galata had an opportunity, drop down and lead that bottom lane, decided to stay up to the top side. Kind of an interesting call. It's probably the first time we've seen that so far here tonight, and that bottom side is going to take over control again off of turn 4.
You can see how the momentum changes because the outside slides back. Joshua Hanner jumps right up to the outside of the racetrack. Next thing you know, Galota's no longer in the spot to battle for the race lead. In fact, the slip angle forward, going to take it right back. A good run coming through the tri-oval. Not a lot of extra space, but he'll make it work. Come down to the inside, put the number 24 back to the point. You could see maybe the 86 and the 41, Andy, working together, not wanting to split each other up, which you could get to not take that race lead position just 19 laps in. win, I can guarantee you if they are trying to stay together, if they're presented with that scenario later on, they'll probably leave them. But if that is what they're trying to do, you can understand it. Trying to stay together. It's just at a quarter distance now through this Alabama 200 with 20 laps complete the next time around. This time, in fact, coming at a turn number 4. So the race is still young. You can see the strategy in play. If they're not trying to stay together, I can't tell you why he didn't jump down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe just trying to see how that top side would react, staying up there and not coming down to the bottom side. We know exactly what it can do when you drop down to the bottom. You see Matt Quick move up to the outside. This is just after Josh Hanner did it and took over the race lead once again. So now these two guys who are somewhat helping each other, familiar foes, I would say, over the course of Friday nights over the last couple of years right here on LSRTV. And now they're duking it out here in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. And they're looking for their first win, each of them here in this series, and doing a good job so far here tonight, leading some laps for both of them, and both of them leading the line here as they exit turn number 4 once again.
And Quick getting set to take this right back over. The 89 and the 24 have kind of taken over the pace of this race. Quick jumps back down in front. Again, Matthew Quick started 8th in this one, and he's a constant here on Friday nights with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. Same with the 24, Josh Hanner in P2, who started in 3rd. They've taken over. Josh Parker put a crack at the race lead, 3rd in line. He's got a wide open door to jump to the outside if he wants, and he'll do just that, because again, the outside, if they're not going forwards, they're going backwards. They don't sit on your door in first. They don't sit on your door in second. As we go 3 wide with the 9 and the 40, gonna go to the 3rd lane on the outside in corners 3 and 4, and that's a really tight squeeze in the center for EJ O'Rourke. He's going to be able to hang on to it nonetheless. So Parker trying to get it back in this, who started in 2nd. But I mentioned briefly our pole sitter, Mitchell Hunt, wants nothing to do with what's going on up front.
Oh,
He's
contact. The 40, the 43, and the 9 running 3 wide into turn number 1. They made contact, and our first caution is out for tonight.
And that's exactly why he wanted to drop back. Contact in the lead draft coming down to turn number 1. And it was in that 3 wide. It looked like Jordy Lopez came down just a little bit. 43 might have been a little bit higher off of that yellow line than he was expecting. And it bounced a couple of cars around. The 43, the 9, the 14. They all go spinning down to the inside of the racetrack. And really, I thought it was going to get big when Jordy Lopez Jr. went back up the track. But he did a really good job of straightening out that race car and minimizing the damage. A small one early in this one. Turn number 1 at lap number 23. Going to be the first yellow.
Yeah, no flipping cars here in this one, at least. So we're doing better than earlier this afternoon, but a tough break there for Garrett Smithley. Pretty much just on the bottom side, minding his own business at the start of this race here. Gets caught up in that one there, so he's going to fall back quite a bit. It doesn't look like major damage for that 43 machine, and he was able to get it back going in the right direction. So we'll see if he can get some of that damage fixed. And, this is one of those tracks where the aerodynamics is so meaningful and is so important, but at the same time, if it's just a slight damage that you end up getting on that front end of that car, you're usually pretty good if you're right up behind somebody's bumper. So we'll see how that 43 reacts. Will he be able to lead a line? Not so sure, but he should be able to at least stay up with the pack and win the draft and probably get a decent finish out of this one.
You got to assume now, just past, as you mentioned, quarter distance about 4 laps ago, these drivers going to be coming down for service this time by. And again, really the pit strategy more often than not at these restrictor plate racetracks is dictated by the pace of the yellows. But you come down now, you can make it a one-stop race going through to the end of it. Matt Quick going to dive down to the inside. Pit service for the first time tonight, 60 miles an hour at the commitment cone all the way down. Matt Quick headed to pit stall number 8 as your leader. Interesting to see what these guys are going to do tire-wise.
Yeah, I would think here on under caution, it's a free opportunity to take those 4 tires. Save your 2-tire stops for the possibility of a green flag stop later on in the race. So I really think that a lot of these guys, you'll see him take 2 tires or no tires, or maybe 4 tires. But it looks like Matt Quick's going to take 2 tires for the 89 machine, and that'll get him out off of pit road before everybody else.
It's a good move. You see the number 9 of Austin Jones in front of Matthew Quick. He did not come down to the pit lane. The 85, Kennebaum Jr. did, but he drove right through. We could assume that means that he'll be coming down to pit at the one to go, and I think he's the only driver in front of Matt Quick. So Quick should be in the control position when it comes to dropping a green flag tonight. 2 tires make sense, though. Not a whole lot of laps on the race car, and it doesn't take much more than I think the service takes to get 2 tires to get that car full of fuel, especially because they didn't really run that thing dry. 4 tires takes longer than what it takes to get it filled up entirely with fuel. So I like the call. It makes sense. And Matt Quick make it a good decision as well to stay out in front of the field. So we pace 25 laps in. We'll take this opportunity to take a quick yellow of our own, step aside, and come back to the Talladega Superspeedway for the first American Ethanol restart on the evening. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series. More action from the Alabama 200 when we return. We're back at the Talladega Superspeedway. Lights on top of the pace car have been extinguished, and we get set to drop the hammer for the first time tonight, coming off of the yellow flag. And in front of the field is Matthew Quick, the number 89 Chevrolet, started tonight in the 8th position. He has been one of about 3 cars that have dictated the pace of the race. The yellow at lap 23 has slowed us down for the first and only time so far tonight. So the restart going to come. We'll take lap 28 of 78. Going to leave us with just a little bit over 50 laps to go in tonight's competition. Still plenty of time. Still a cycle of pit stops to go through before we get down to business. But we still have 31 cars on the lead lap, which means that this thing is far from being decided. So we headed to turns 3 and 4, and the pace car going to make that dive down and away. We do see Quick, Hanner, Jet, Parker, and Gorlinski inside of the top 5. 5-time winner this year, Ralph Allo, P6, EJ O'Rourke, Casey Tucker, Adam Benefiel, and Justin Fuller. Going to round out the top 10 as they run right now. So we get set for another stint. They're going to be 2 abreast, back 15 rows and change. The pace car Gonna make the dive down to the inside. And remember, start and finish on it well beyond that center point of the tri-oval here at the Talladega Superspeedway. You gotta hold them back just a little bit more than you would in Daytona Beach until you can hit the American Ethanol Go Zone. Green flag waves under the flag stand. They come back at it at Talladega.
Yeah, just like the first initial start of the race, look how much separation between everybody. Everyone just taking it easy on that start right there. Everyone but Matt Quick. He jumped out to a pretty sizable lead for restrictor plate race, but the problem with that is he's going to get eaten up alive here. As you can see, that 18-24 start to make a run. Those guys should shoot out to the outside. Look at it right there. Josh Hanner going to the outside all by himself. Oh, the 18 almost makes contact there. He's got a little help from Ray Alfalo. They're going to go to the point now. That's going to leave that 89 wishing that he set back just a little bit longer on that restart, but he's going to be able to hang on right now for that battle for that second spot. Ray Alfalo, though, he's not done. He's looking to give Josh Parker the run he can handle here off of turn number 4, and looks like it might be enough. These guys taking over the lead here if they can, but Josh Hanner, he's got the help from Matt Quick.
He does have the assist, and it's going to help him out on the inside of the racetrack. The 24 wasted no time, kind of betraying the 89, who got so far out in front, he almost got too far out in front. Any other racetrack, your leader going from when the pace car hits pit road to when the green flag drops. In this case, these guys restricted to the restart box. You really don't want a big jump here at Talladega. You'd rather go with that 24 right on your bumper, and the no push for half a lap allowed that 24 to get such a run. Joshua Hanner would rate to the point, and the 18-27, the guys that went with him to the outside of the racetrack weren't also to get clear, and they will now drop it behind the 80 John Gorlinski, leaving that 18 to Parker in fourth. The 27 Ray Alfalo in fifth. He sees the run coming. He jumps right back up to the outside of the racetrack in front of the number 7 Chevrolet of Rich Jett. That's the only other driver up there right now.
That is only 2 of them right now. It'll kind of suffer a little bit, though, although Ray Alfalo is one of the best there is at side drafting, so he should be able to keep himself somewhat near the top 5 here as they run right now. E.J. O'Rourke now looking to the outside. He'll jump out there to give that 27 a push, and that'll keep him right there. Josh Parker, though, keeps going to moving up the racetrack like that to kill the momentum of those guys on the outside, and I really think eventually maybe we might see some of that netcode stuff start happening here as him and Alfalo right now door to door here off of turn number 4, and that is the battle for 4th.
And it is a side-by-side fight for the number 4 spot. 27, his support has fallen away. He's waiting for E.J. O'Rourke to get up there, and the 41 thought about coming down. Not quite. A second guess might be for the better. Casey Tucker coming over the radio and talking about that almost incident with them. And in front of these guys, the 18 of Parker thinking about going to the outside of the racetrack. But that 7 of Rich Jett has gone backwards quickly. He's behind that 12 of Tucker back in the number 10 spot as they run at the moment. Talk about trying to force somebody's way in line. 27 of Ray Alfalo. Not good enough at convincing the 51 of Justin Fuller that he should allow him to come down. 27 going to stay on the outside of the racetrack, and now the 12 of Casey Tucker going to join him up top. But 2 cars not normally good enough to beat 7. We'll see if they can get a little bit more support up top. But right now, Ray Alfalo spearheads the charge, and that'll help top side for Benefield.
Yeah, Benefield now going to jump out to that high side, try to get the help with the 27 and get their way to the front. They've made it up to the 3rd spot now into turn number 1 and 2. Kind of a separation now from after you look at Joseph Galata there in the 12th spot. They got quite a separation back to E.J. O'Rourke in 13th. So this group's starting to spread out just a little bit. Battle for the lead, though, it's shaping up. Matt Quick to the outside. He's going to get the help from those guys. Not going to be able to clear Josh Hanner as Gorlinski able to get to his back bumper and at least secure that bottom line for the time being.
And now just about a lap ago, really, it was 7 or 8 drivers in front on the inside, and now it's 2 wide through the top 10. Quick to get the push in front, and he will clear the 24, slide right back down. And really, it's starting to become the Josh Hanner Matt Quick race. The 89 now in front of the field. Let's see what Adam Benefield can do. 23rd to 3rd. One of the bigger movers so far on the line. In fact, he might be the single biggest mover in the field so far. However, when he ends up in front of the outside lane, they just don't have the support. The run that they need might come from a 24 or an 80 of John Gorlinski jumping up in front of them, which seems to be same old song and dance if you're somebody like Adam Benefield who just can't get his opportunity at going for the race lead. And you can tell 2 cars, those are some of the fastest cars on the racetrack any given week by themselves, so they don't stand much of a chance to that freight train on the bottom.
Yeah, they're not standing a chance right now just because the lack of support. The bottom side just way too overpowering right now with about 8 cars in that line. 9 cars make it with that 86 of Joseph Galata as well tagging on there. He's kind of looking to the outside, looking down. He's trying to figure out which line will be the one that gets the move on. The 12, though, has lost that draft to that first pack. Casey Tucker now looks like he might have to fall back to the E.J. O'Rourke machine in the 13th spot there and catch up with that second group here. Is top spots for all these guys now. The bottom side is the place to be. They're overpowering that top side as Justin Fuller now looks to the outside, maybe to try to help them, try to gather up some steam for that outside lane. And now it's going to be 3 cars, but they still don't have the momentum they need off turn 4.
And it's going to take them one more lap, I think, to build that speed up that they need to. They'll get another crack at them. That's not the concern. You just, again, have to be really in the right spot at the right time, which is why you talk about Talladega. You talk about how it's always a free-for-all and the wild card race that anything can happen. It does take some knowledge of plate track racing to be successful here, but sometimes you just have to be in the right spot at the right time, and you better be lucky than good in certain scenarios. But the 51, the 83, the 27, led by Justin Fuller, they're coming up with a head of speed down the Alabama gangback straightaway to turn number 3, all the way from about 7th up to side-by-side for P2 before that train runs out of steam.
Yeah, ran out of steam just a little bit, but they'll resize it up here probably before they get into turn number 1. And like we said all along here, it's all about timing and when they can get to that back bumper to give that push. And it's usually got to be timed right perfectly off of the corners, and it's not going to help when they catch up to them right on the straightaway here. So that top bottom side still going to have the advantage. Lap car, though, the 17 now up to the high side. They have to make their way around them. That's Jesse Kovacs right now, currently showing 1 lap down, make it 2 now as he tries to keep pace with these guys here, sitting 29th on the board. We're going to go 3 wide now for the race lead. It's real tight up there. Justin Fuller to the high side. He's looking for it. He doesn't have any help. Makes contact with Hanner right there. Oh, and here goes Adam Benefield now. He's got it straight on the apron, and we're going to keep it green.
Somehow he wiggles the back end side to side, but he'll be able to regain control of the Chevrolet SS, and he rides the bottom. In fact, he'll have to stay on the apron. Not a lot of speed. He'll lose tons of time, but that could have been a lot worse. And for Justin Fuller, kind of got screwed out of a good run there for the lead because the 24 came down and now sideways in the corner. Hanner, he'll bobble not once but twice, come back up, and again a spectacular save.
Unbelievable, the saves that these guys are making right now coming off the corners. That's the problem when you run right on that yellow line. If you get too low and you touch that apron flattens out, and you just have absolutely no grip. The cars, you just see them, they just get so loose right there. But that's some great driving by these drivers, and shows you why they're running here in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. But up front, Matt Quick, he's going to get overrun here. So we got a battle for that lead. John Gorlinski decided he wants it. Look at Ray Alfalla now go 3 wide for second.
He wants that spot, and they're digging up at the front of the field. The 27 going to slide back down. That was the 3rd time in just about as many laps that Justin Fuller was on the outside in a 3-wide battle. And as we've covered a couple of times, that 3rd lane just not cutting it quite yet. You need a lot of cars up there if you want it to happen. At a 51, takes the L, he drops back in line, and he'll be P number 5 at the end of this one. The 80 machine just in front of the field now. Bentley Glazer going to jump up to 4th. The 51, though, struggling to hang on. The big thing that all this chaos has done in the last couple of laps is it's really spread things out. There's still plenty of cars there. You're going to find each other if we stay green for the next 10 laps. They'll be right back side by side, but at least for the moment, they fanned out just a little bit with a small top 4. Breakaway in front of 3 wide behind. Odd man out to the outside is Casey Tucker.
That's Casey Tucker in that 12. Just kind of got pushed up, shuffled out to the outside lane. He'll be able to get back in line right now, but that bottom side now led by that 51 of Justin Fuller. They're going to get some momentum. 3 wide looking again here. Josh Hanner going to decide to drop down to the bottom. He had the space. Look at E.J. O'Rourke all over the place. Almost got into the door of Joseph Gulata went back up to the high side, almost clipped the 19. I mean, these guys are going crazy here today.
Something's in the water in Talladega that said that these guys are just going to go after each other. It wasn't a calm opening 23 laps, but they weren't going 3 wide every other turn. You see the 19 of Tyler Dalton going all the way down until he can find an opening to slot in behind the 12 of Casey Tucker, down in front of the number 77 of Tyler Tucker, and that's where he'll find the spot in line, but it's going to be about P12. Now, the only side-by-side in this lead battle, the 36 of Bentley Glazer. And when you don't have any help, you're really got to get down on somebody and get that side draft working, and that's what he's doing on the door. Matt Quick on the door of Justin Fuller. It works on the straightaways. Once you're taking a longer way around the racetrack and it turns up the banking a little bit, not quite. The 24 comes up as relief, just as the 36 jumps to the inside. Matt Quick gonna jump at a line just like that. 3 cars on the outside, make it 4 with the 41 up there.
Yeah, look at Hanner. He was leading that outside lane, 89 of Matt Quick. They've been working well together all night long, so Matt Quick decides to jump up there, lose a spot in position right there to the 51 of Justin Fuller, but he feels that on that top side with that 24 behind him, they have a great opportunity to get back up to the top spot there. I'm sure Matt Quick's not too happy when he got overran there a couple laps ago on the front straightaway. He was all by himself there, nobody deciding to help him, and they went 3 wide to get around him, and I'm sure he's got that in the back of his mind, but he wants to get back up to the race lead. He's doing it right now. He's got a great push from that 24 off of turn number 4, and he's going for that lead now as they run side by side through the tri-oval.
And just like I said, give them a couple of laps, they'll be right back side by side through the field. Quick to be credited with leading the lap that time by Gorlinski, and got an opportunity to be in front for, I think, the first time tonight. The last time around, he now finds himself in second. And Hanner in a good spot here. The 89 jump down. He'll have to come back to the 80. A big head of steam at a quarter number 2, but not enough of a push. He'll come up about 3/4 of a car length shy on the outside, and Hanner gonna have to wait to make that move another day. But it is true that as we started to think that these guys were getting really spread out, we're back to 12 cars within half a second, all the way from Quick back to Tucker in that 12th position, and about 7 of them are on the outside of the racetrack trying to make something work. Justin Fuller not convinced the outside the place to be right now. He'll slot in behind Ray Alfala's 27.
Yeah, he'll slot in. A pretty good battle up front, though. Josh Hanner, 3/1000ths of a second now off of that race lead right there. He was able to get right next to him, just ain't able to get around that 89 of Matt Quick. Gorlinski doing a great job keeping to the back bumper of that 89 machine. And look at that run now down the back straightaway. Joseph Gulata, very quiet here tonight, but doing a great job getting the push. He's been riding that top side quite a bit and just trying to figure out where he fits into this whole mess here. Started 18th, up to 4th now currently, so a great job so far tonight for that 86 as well.
24 really beat up a little bit. Josh Hanner, who has been up front for a lot of this race, just taking note now, though, he's been beat around a little bit, and you would expect that up front. A lot of guys pushing on each other, slam drafted, if you will. Not only does he have the back end damage, but he's got some right front damage as well on the Snow Cone Productions entry, and I'm not sure how much, if at all, that is affecting him. But the car is beat up a little bit, and it wouldn't shock me if it's not handling quite as he would like. He'll drop down in the draft behind the 27. They're really going to push John Gorlinski at a line. 24 pops right back up. Galota wants to go 3 wide, thinks better of it. He'll stay in behind the 24 as Gorlinski has the race lead again.
This is just some amazing racing we got here. Everybody's switching lanes, not sure where they want to go, who they want to work with. They're all trying to get it done here. Ray Alfala now behind that 89 of Matt Quick, trying to keep him up to that top spot as Gorlinski tries to fight hard on the outside with the help of Hanner. Hanner doing a great job trying to get back to his back bumper. They'll drag race it now into turn number 1, and you see that top side, only 4 cars strong, but look at behind them. You got the 41, and how about the 8? We haven't talked about Adam Gilliland or Timmy Hill in the 15. Now all of a sudden these guys coming into the picture as well. They're on the top side looking to make noise.
Working on the outside of the racetrack, they come. Look at the 86, really starting to pinch down on that 51. Justin Fuller, a new name to the conversation. I mentioned him around P10, but Casey Tucker wants to be a part of the battle. The Onyx machine started in 21st, and now at a race high at P8, should be scored 7th, if not P6. depending on where he crosses the line. In comparison to the 51 adjusted Fuller, it will be the number 6 spot across the start-finish line. So he's really hauling the mail on the outside. The big run, going to push all the way up forwards, and Gorlinski, second time tonight, will drop to the bottom of the racetrack and take over the race lead. It's always interesting to me, Andy, because you see these guys making moves on the outside of the racetrack. The outside, without a doubt, the passing lane, if you will. But as soon as they get to the race lead, they jump to the bottom of the racetrack. The bottom, just where you go, I guess, when you're out in front.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a safe place. It's the place that's more secure. You do get a better run as long as that guy behind you can stay on the back of you. And you can see right there off of turn number 4, Matt Quick able to at least stay up with that 80 machine for the time being. And that's what gives them the ability to hold on to that race lead right there. Gulata just too slow getting to the back bumper of Josh Hanner, so that just allowed that bottom side to keep that lead right there for the time being. But the bottom side, they're starting to get a little separation there. Ray Alfala off about a half a car length right now, and that definitely doesn't help trying to keep that momentum for that bottom side up. But, man, this is awesome. 2 by 2 all the way through the top, 20 or so right now, 16 at least. These guys doing a great job right here, and a bunch of names that we haven't talked about at all starting to come into it.
And a bunch of names that we haven't talked a lot about are starting to get caught up to by this lead pack. The lead pack is 16 cars deep. You have Ken Bond Jr. and John Wilco in the middle of no man's land, but 19th through 28 is all in one big single file line, and the lead pack is catching them. Not all that far away. You got Josh Jones, last driver on the lead lap, then Busa, Woods, Cabry, Benefield, Coleman, Hunt, Lopez, and Hightower, topped off with Josh Parker. Those are not guys that have been slow all race long. And in fact, a couple of those names are going to jump out at you because we've been talking about them for at least the opening 30 laps. But after that caution, after really the big squirrely and big checkout we saw coming off of the restart, then they dropped the way back. We're going to go 3 wide again. How about 3 rows deep? 36, the 8, the 15. They'll go to the outermost lane in the middle of turns 3 and 4. And they're holding it even for now with the guys in the middle. Can they build up some momentum? We haven't seen the third lane be a viable option to this point yet.
No, we haven't, but they're 4 cars strong at this point. Every time we've seen somebody try to make a run on the outside, it's only been a single car or 2 car tandem. So it's interesting to see what 3, maybe 4 cars here is. It looks like the one of Trey Edson just not quite sure of which lane he wants to go in right now, and he keeps dropping back down, dropping back up. He trying to figure out where he's going to go. And meanwhile, up front, we get Fuller hitting the 51. He's got a huge run going down the back straightaway. Matt Quick giving him the push. They'll pull up even right now for the race lead. But that third lane on the outside, they haven't been able to gain anything. They've been stuck right there with those guys, and it looks like there might be a hole for them to make it into the second lane.
Yeah, they had the speed, but again, that third lane, unless you have a lot more cars up there than you have on the bottom and the middle, and considering that everybody just kind of gets sucked down to that yellow line, that's probably not going to happen much in this race at all. So those guys up top jump down in line behind that second lane. And really, they just have to wait for their opportunity because it's hard for those guys. There's a lot of movement up at the front of the field. The 80 to 51, the 27 to 89, all these guys, the 24 also, they're moving around, but you see that ain't coming up fast. Adam Gilliland with a push from the 15 to Timmy Hill. That's really all those guys can do, Andy, because, well, there is a lot of movement inside the top 5. If you're outside the top 5, you're stuck too wide. Nobody else is moving. You can't go anywhere. So you get forced to try that third lane. Not working out yet, but I give them props for digging at it.
Oh, they're getting such a run off of turn number 2, and that's why they're going up there. They don't want to let off the throttle. They don't want to give up the momentum. The problem is the momentum just dies once they get into the corner down to turn number 3. So it really hurts their efforts of trying to make that outside lane work. You can see it again here off of turn number 2. Gilliland to the high side. Going to try to make it work. Galata almost going up there to block for the time being, and it's going to once again shove them back down here. So they go 3 wide in front of them now. Matt Quick forced to the outside as Josh Hanner goes to the middle lane. Now they're 3 wide for second.
And Quick this time really just in the lane that's going to backwards. He wants to get in line. He'll jump down in front of the 8. Not quite, though, in the middle lane. And somehow he'll make that work. You got to give some credit to Adam Gilliland. he could have turned that 89 around after Quick forced his way down, but he says, taking it myself, felt not worth teaching you a lesson. So he'll back off a little bit, let him in line. The 24 going to drop down to the inside. Not sure where Joseph Galota's going. He's got to get out of line. He's got some damage and maybe have rising oil or water temps because he just shot straight up. Again, we saw a couple of guys do that early in this race because they didn't want to be a part of that chaotic big pack, and it was a smart move by a couple of them because we saw so far the one and only accident that we've seen tonight almost immediately after we commented on that, but Galota dropping to the back when you don't want to inside of the final 30.
Yeah, absolutely. We close in on the end of this one here. The second half of this race coming up on us really quickly now, and the racing's been absolutely phenomenal, and I would assume we got at least one more pit stop by these guys, and at this rate, it's going to be a green flag pit stop. Some great racing, some great saves by a couple big names out there after hitting the apron, and now this race separated huge, different packs all around this racetrack, but this front pack of 16 is just putting on a show for everyone out there.
Side by side all the way coming out of turn 2. The question now becomes, in this 16-car lead pack, is how long do you wait to complete that final stop? You pit now, you're good to the end. Doesn't mean they're going to come in right now. When do we think these guys are going to start making a move? Because you're not going to come down pit road from too wide, so we'll start to see the complexion of that pack up front change when they do want to come down. But that window, I think, is now open.
Yeah, it's definitely open. I would say a lot of these drivers would probably want to split that part of this part of the race up in half, and it was about lap 40 or so when we went. It was about lap 27 or 8 when we went back to green flag racing. So when we did that, you're looking at about 50 laps to go, so 25 or so. I'd see these guys come in, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them as the lead is really heating up. 3 lanes now going to the top side. Look at back quick with the help of the 8 and the 15 of Timmy Hill. And they're looking for all 3 of them to get the lead, and they'll clear them into turn 3.
89 down, the 8, the 15, they all come in. Only the one of Trey Edson is not able to get around. The 50 would have Justin Fuller, who got shot very quickly into the middle of the Earnhardt soccer hole and started to go backwards. And now Gilliland going to get a push from behind. Timmy Hill going to put the gmercer.com Toyota first time tonight to the point from 29th and 28th on the grid. Gilliland and Hill going to be scored in first and third. That time by, and this time, last time, taking it just inside now of 25 laps to go at the Talladega Super Speedway, closing in on go time, but they can't quite let them rip yet because pit stops still sit in between us and the checkered flag at the end of this one. How patient are they to get to that final stop? We'll take this opportunity and get our final break out of the way, and we go on LSRTV non-stop, so you don't miss a moment of the action. Matt Quick, your leader in the Alabama 200. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consultant Cup Series on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Back live at the Talladega Super Speedway. The green flag still in the air and 20 laps to go. That time in the ProGeek Cup Alabama 200. We're happy to have you with us at LSRTV and iRacing Live. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, and Cisco Scaramuza with you. Adam Gilliland leads now. It is a single file train. Might mean that a little bit of pit stops may be in order. The number 8, the 89, the 27, that is the battle for the race lead, and they're catching up now to what we had described as a single file pack of lap cars that are now too wide for most of it. They're not just going to be able to blow by these guys. These aren't your typical lap cars that are damaged, Andy, and are off speed. This is going to be a headache for these guys to deal with. They might want to pit before they get to them.
You ain't kidding. If I were them, I'd be looking to come to pit road this next time by, because they're absolutely, this is just going to put everything into a weird perspective here. I can't wait to see what these leaders try to do. I mean, they, like you said, these aren't damaged race cars. It was just that a couple little events we had with guys hitting the apron that really separated the field. So it's not like these guys are slow by any means. If they were up here in the front pack, they'd be just as fast as these guys. So it's just interesting to see what's going to happen here. They're absolutely not giving up a position here. They're not going to the high side. They're too deep right now, about 10 cars worth of drivers right now, and these leaders, they're catching them pretty quick here, and it looks like pit road, here they come, a whole bunch of them.
They adhered to my warning, and that is get in before it hits the fan. Adam Gilliland going to bring him down in. Fuller a little bit hot, but I think he's good in the line. Not a lot of cars coming down when you look at the size of the pack. About 6 or 7 of them coming in this time. Timmy Hill, the one with Shida Trey Edson in as well. They took 1 or 2 tires at those right sides on the only time you've seen them down. Those left side tires have to go all the way as they spin them all the way out of pit road. 2 tires in service and off. Adam Gilliland going to be second out of the pit lane to Justin Fuller.
Going back to the pack right now, look at what's going on here. As the leaders have caught that tail end of that pack. The 71 of Mitchell Hunt, the 18 of Fuller. Both of those guys getting now laps right now as Matt Quick still on the bottom side. They're staying out. So for the time being, they're using these guys maybe to catch up some more speed and use these guys drafting here to help them get along, and maybe by the time they come in, they might have a slight advantage over those guys that just came down in pit. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but our leaders, they're right in the middle of it right now, and they're still trying to get around these guys as they work their way off of turn number 2.
It's a mess up there if you want to use PG terms, and these guys are absolutely now stuck because Matt Quick on the inside behind the 20. You're not going to speed up that line. Somebody might go to the outside like the number 10 machine is right there, who is one of the drivers as a lap machine. In fact, scored as the last driver on the lead lap. He'll be the first driver off the lead lap as you see the 89 up in front of him. But also, you saw a couple of guys come down pit road. It depends how much you're lifting. If these guys are having to lift for these guys, then obviously the guys that pitted before are going to be at an advantage, but I don't really think they are. I think they're just driving like they normally would, Andy. The problem is now the leader is in the middle of a pack, but he's still your race leader. Those guys that came down pit road, I said only 6 or 7 of them came in at one time. They might not be at a huge advantage in this case, depending on just how well the 89 and the 71 blend into the back of this pack and get going, because normally, obviously, while they're not going to be out front, they're not going to be as fast as they were if they were leading this pack. More cars is faster than less cars. So a pack of 20, 25, a lot faster than a pack of 6. But again, you have to make sure that these guys aren't holding you up. If you're running like you do in the middle of the pack any other day of the week, they should be okay, but they're not even looking down the pit road yet.
No, they are. It looks like that time only 1 car came down, which was kind of a surprise. John Gorlinski in the 80. Looked like he was the only one to come down of the leaders at that time by. So the rest of the 7 of them that are still out there on the racetrack, or 6 of them, I should stay out on the racetrack. They're still trying to battle through these cars right now. But I like what I'm seeing from Quick and Alfala and Hanner, that they're not trying to force the issue and go 3 wide and get stuck maybe on that outside line when they need to come down and pit. So they're doing a great job just holding it down there on the bottom, riding in line with these guys, and not trying to force the issue and not trying to cause something that they could, probably regret later on. So they decided to still stay out there right now, and I think that's all they're trying to do is just use these guys for speed right now and then come in when at the last possible minute.
And trying to run this out. Also, they're going to be at the benefit if you see a caution flag come out. The guys that are already pitted in a much better position because obviously they've already completed their service. They're going to be able to make it to the end of this race. Mitchell Hunt and company are 47 laps back, which means that they are technically at the lead of the pack that your leaders are in the back of. So they're trying to get up to them to lap them. Basically, you have a pack at the front of this pack. The guys that were leading and pitted are now at the end of the lead lap. In the middle of the pack are guys 1 lap down, and at the back of the pack are your leaders. Try to wrap your head around that. Ray Alfalla gonna dive to the inside. He'll have plenty of support. Here comes the cavalry. Rich Jett, Josh Hanner, Tyler Tucker, spinner behind. Bomb gonna hit into the inside wall.
The 62 and the 85 Kenny Baum Jr. They're having problems getting down in the pit road. It will stay green flag racing though for the time being, but kind of surprised that 89 machine, Matt Quick, the only one to stay out there. Ray Alfalla might get caught with a speeding penalty. We'll see, but nope, it looks like he's out and running, so he should be all right. But Matt Quick deciding to stay out with those lap down, or the guys on the tail end of the lead lap for the time being. We'll see what happens with him.
It'll be an interesting, atmosphere to this one once all of this cycles out because you see the guys that still need to pit, the 89 coming in. Quick going to come down, and a couple of car lengths behind is Jesse Kovacs, but still 2 not better than the 6 or 7 or 8 large packs that we have seen decide to come down to the pit lane. So we'll see what they can do. Ray Alfalla just did it out. He's all by himself down in turn 3. He was a little bit too quick for the rest of the cars that pitted with him. Everybody, again, is all broken up. You have to try to find who's going to end up in front of the field, and you look back to that pack of 7 cars that came in earlier really kicked off the pit cycle, that came in much earlier than everybody else. That would be the pack that you see Mitchell Hunt in. Hunt coming out of turn number 4. They go 3 wide to the apron. Look at the 10 car down below the yellow line to the inside on the 36 in the middle of the tri-oval. Bentley Glazer going to go from being on the inside of 3 wide to now to the outside lane. They go more 3 wide to turn number 1. Matt Quick, though, still scored at the moment as your race leader, all by himself in turn 4, but in front of everybody else. Here comes the big head of steam, though, and Ray Alfalla. The assist to Rich Jetty. They're going to go to 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, they are. Hopefully that 89 can catch on to the draft here with him and hang on to it. He's got a couple more coming behind him as well. The 24, Josh Hanner, and the 12 of Casey Tucker also in that group right there. Almost was wondering if they were going to stick to the back of him right there or not, but it looks like Matt Quick able to somewhat get up to speed now. He's up to 195, so he should be able to grab onto this draft from these guys, hopefully. Cross your fingers at this point that he can. If not, he's going to have to wait for some help from that lap down machine of the 17, but Matt Quick trying to keep up with these guys up with the draft, but Ray Alfalla right now leading the freight train, 4 cars strong.
And they're pushing up, and now they're going to kind of start to form a little bit of a pack. The 27, 7 to 24 in the 12. This time by as they got a 2.3 second advantage to Fuller, Hill, Edson, Gilliland, Gorlinski, and company. They're going to take just 10 laps to go at Talladega. The 27 in front of the field. Do we see typical Talladega late race yellow to group them back on up? But can these 5 guys in front maintain the gap? Probably not. They lost 9/10 of a second the last time by. That second pack is coming. They're coming quick. I don't think Doy Woods, Matt Busa, Adam Benefield, and 12th on back are going to catch him. They're 3 wide in turn 1 and 8 seconds off the pace, but you could see at least 9 cars have a chance to fight for it.
Yeah, he absolutely could. And again, Matt Quick lost that draft to the top 4. Hopefully he can pick up these next 4 group right here as they go to the bottom side, actually, which should help out that 89 machine. That would give them 1 other car, 1 extra car that could help them get up to the front 4 right now. It looks like they're going to go to the outside, though, right there. I don't know. It's close. Matt Quick, though, is up to about 198 miles an hour. He should be able to catch on to this pack right here. He's definitely got a lot more speed than he did when those first 4 went by him now, so Matt Quick might have an opportunity here. This one might not be over for him, and it looks like he will. Right there, he's stabilized next to Adam Gilliland, so he should be able to catch on to these guys here, and who knows, we might see him back up towards the front here, battling this one out at the end.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they don't go side by side, and they need to make sure that they get up on the wheel and start pushing, because you see the 15 go to the outside, Timmy Hill. That's not going to help. He's dropping it back. But you have to make up. I mentioned they got 9/10 of a second 2 laps ago, and they were basically even the last time by. So they still sit 1.3 seconds behind Alfala, Jenny, Hanner, Tucker, 1, 2, 3, and 4, who are dictating the pace of the race. They need to make up that time sooner than later if they want to get there. The gap is going to go from 1.3 to 1.2. It's a small gain, but inside 10 to go. You don't want to get to them at the white flag. You want to get there with a couple of laps to make something happen.
No, you definitely want to do, and these guys right now, they separated just a little bit. That's why they didn't gain that much. The 15 of Timmy Hill went to the outside, trying to go back to the back, pick up that 8 machine, which they had been working together all the way since the beginning of this race, along with Trey Edson. So the 3 of them now in line, working together, and I think that's what that 15 wanted to do. So now that they're single file, now that they're in line, it looks like visually at least the gap is closing on that front 4 right now, and we'll see this time as they hit the start-finish line, and we're going to leave ourselves with about 7 laps left to go.
And this time by, you look out the front of Justin Fuller, and you can see the gap that had 0.3 of a second subtracted off of it. I didn't say you want to be there with a couple of laps to go. You don't want to get there at the white flag. That's because you don't want to put all your chips on one table. But that's not me saying you want to get there and then stop and then go. If they catch them, you want to take that momentum right to the outside of the racetrack. And the closer that they get, the more draft they're going to get. And it is going to be a 9-car battle for the race lead. At a turn 4 this time, that second pack is there, but they are all single file. Who's going to make the first move?
Well, who's going to make the first move is the key. We got to remember, too, once we get inside that 5 lap to go mark, a caution would end this one, but I highly doubt, at least I'll put my money that we won't see one, just because how much this field is spread out right now. And the top guys right now, just they don't want to try anything or force anything at this point. They just want to catch those top 4, be able to race them out for the last few laps to get this race win here tonight. I'll say that right off of turn number 2, that 51. He's in the draft now of the 12 of Casey Tucker, and we got ourselves a battle now for the win here tonight.
It is a battle, and Ray Alfala, we talked again about at the start of this race, we mentioned how interesting it is as we come to 5 laps to go, that the conversation at a plate track is always how an underdog could win it, and then we mentioned the irony that after that statement, we did say Ray Alfala, who has 5 wins on the season, 1 at Daytona. He's looking for win number 6, not if Justin Fuller can help it. The 51-1 to the outside of the racetrack. We go side by side at 74.
What a great run right there on that outside. They caught him, and they decided to go right to the pass. They did not want to get to the back bumper and then just stay there. To the 51 now, Matt Fuller moving up to use that draft to Wilco to try to help them out down there. He's going to be side by side with that second spot here. Ray Alfala now blocking up to the top side, trying to kill the momentum. Then to turn number 3, and it'll kill it only for a short time. Here they come now off of turn number 4. That quick. He went to the bottom, so it's 5 against 4. Who's going to win it out here? Top side with the momentum off of 4.
Alfala doesn't have the push that he needs, and he's going to see it slip away. Justin Fuller to the race lead at 4 laps to go. This time by, they take 75 inside the window that a yellow flag would end this race if we see one. And now the ball in the 27 score. Does Alfala stay behind the 50? Oh, there's the problems behind. 15 into the outside wall. Timmy Hill comes down. He and Matt Quick going to slide to the inside wall. They spin and hit the inside fence. No caution as it's well off of the racing surface. And battle for the race lead back on Alfala to the outside, side by side. Caution flag, that's it. Justin Fuller at the point of yellow, I think, is going to be scored as your race winner. Ray Alfala had it for a moment. They hung on, and I'm not sure what was going through the head of the 15 machine, but Timmy Hill came up the track and ran in the middle of the racetrack at 70 miles an hour, and that pack behind him could not go anywhere. John Gorlinski not happy about that, understandably so. And Timmy Hill causes a big accident down the back straightaway. The caution flag is going to end this race. And
wow, that was crazy right there what happened. I am
Justin Fuller, indeed.
I'm at a loss of words right there, Evan, with that one. I'm absolutely shocked by that. I'm not sure he even knew those guys were coming. I think he was probably just trying to get back up to speed on the back straightaway, and then he saw probably those guys were coming and didn't want to make a move to get it, you know what I'm saying, and make an aggressive move, and just kind of stayed in the middle and hoped those guys would split him, and, well, they didn't.
It was again, they got into the fence. There was no yellow, but you're going to get up on track. Obviously, he's not going to pull over. The car was okay to continue, but, I mean, the apron's 300 feet wide. I don't see why you had to come up onto the racetrack and come right up and talking about some smoke coming out of the back of that car. But you'd like to think that you'd play it safer. Better safe than sorry. Stay off of the racetrack. You did come up. And obviously that pack, the first couple of guys saw him there. The problem is when you get to the guys second, third, fourth in line, Andy, they had no idea. So the guys up front make a move to try to get around him. And with that being said, just not enough time to react. And an unfortunate incident. You hate to see a race end like that, but Justin Fuller, the clutch move. Ray Alfalla got a shot at him. If that caution dropped about 2 to 3 seconds earlier, the 27 would be talking about race win number 6. He'll have to settle with a 50% win ratio in the opening 10 races, which is not that bad. But he's been shut out of victory lane now 3 weeks in a row. 3 consecutive second-place finishes for Ray Alfalla. Justin Fuller, though, going to get his first win on the season. Yeah, P2 considered a bad night for Ray Alfalla.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I mean, you take the competition level of this league and you say second-place finishes are bad, then you got a problem, because the only thing that's going to do is better his average finish of 2.1. It'll probably go down to 2 now. So Ray Alfalla is still getting it done. Obviously, man, you got to be there up front. He's led some laps here tonight. That'll put him over 500 total laps led on the season as well. So he's definitely been the class of the field in these first 12 races, and it continues even though it's only a second place tonight.
They are going to come around this time at lap 77. They're going to take the white flag. Still 2.66 miles to go at that point until this race officially goes in favor of Justin Fuller. And, on the sim, you can never count things as good until you get that checkered flag. A little bit of an unnerving thing to have to wait what's going to be over 2 minutes, really, till you complete that caution lap. You don't want anything to happen to the car. You don't want anything to happen to your sim, to your connection, to your rig, whatever it may be. Justin Fuller going to take the yellow and the white this time. 1 to go. That caution flag again inside of the final 4 laps. So a restart not going to be possible tonight. Fuller, Alfalla, Ensign, Jetty, and Gilliland. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it looks like this one going to finish with 19 on the lead lap.
Yeah, only 19 left on the lead lap. A pretty great race we saw. It was going to be between 9 drivers there up at the front, and just a slight mistake. Bob could ended this one under caution, but solid runs from Trey Edson, Adam Gilliland. Both of those guys are 29th and 30th, and they're going to finish in the top 5. So great job by those guys as well. But good runs by a lot of guys that, the guys I talk about, Matt Quick, Dady Gorlinski, those guys leading laps here tonight. It looks like Matt Quick involved in that wreck will end up finishing, looks like 13th. So that's still overall a great run for that 89. Even Chad Coleman being able to bounce back. He was in that second group there, and he finds himself now in that 12th spot there for the finish. So a bunch of these guys, Bentley Glazer, one of our Truck Series stars that's been leading the points battles there, a top 10 for him as well. So overall, it was a great night, great Talladega race. A lot better, I think, than the one we saw this afternoon.
A little bit more green flag action if you look at the percentage-wise, and they're able to survive without the big one. And I think the 2 or 3 times that they tried to wreck the whole field after that first yellow attributed to that, because everybody got so spread out that, again, we didn't really see a big pack form up. We did see 9 guys at it, and they were about to go 2 wide throughout, maybe a little bit of 3 wide, but the yellow flag cuts this one short. Just 2 yellows, though, in 78 laps of action at Talladega Superspeedway is great race pace. A very quick night at the office for these guys, but Justin Fuller, final time, going to cycle through the Talladega Superspeedway Tri-Oval, and he breaks in to ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series Victory Lane. Winner tonight in the Alabama 200, Justin Fuller.
Yeah, great job. He's been fast over the past few weeks as well. Had a good opportunity to get a win at Martinsville, but just basically lost it there. Had some trouble late in that race. He was really fast at a couple other racetracks as well. I think Texas comes into mind as well for that 51. Problems for him there too. So he's been fast and he's been running up front. It was just a matter of time till he broke through, and he was able to get it done here tonight.
You have to look back to Martinsville to find the last time that Ray Alfalo was shut out of the top 5. He won the 5th race at Fontana, got a P6 at Martinsville, a win at Texas, a 2nd at Bristol, a 2nd at Richmond, a 2nd at Talladega. And I'm sure it stings to get a P2 because I'd almost rather get a P5 anyway when you talk about it, because you know that you were that close, and especially under these circumstances with the yellow flag dropping. But nobody's going to catch up to Ray Alfalo if he doesn't finish any lower than P2. And in the championship standings behind him was Matt Busa. He beats Matt Busa tonight. Justin Fuller, not a top 10 car. So the lead that was already 61 points, only going to grow a little bit more. He's got 2 more races to lock out the championship win and the points win in the opening segment, 12 races on 2016. The ultimate goal, the overall 2016 title, but leading after segment number 1 would be a huge accomplishment, and he's almost mathematically guaranteed to lock it up.
Yeah, he is, with only 2 races left, so a great job by him. But I think that's great for this league, wanting to break it down into 3 segments like they did, 3 12-race segments. So I think that's only going to help and make the competition that much better as well, too, because now, you know what, in a couple more weeks, yeah, they may not be able to catch Ray in this segment, but guess what? They all start at 0 again in just 2 weeks more time. So I think for a lot of those guys, they're looking forward to that at this point.
So the 51 celebrates, and we'll meet up with him down in Gatorade Victory Lane. We'll take an opportunity to step away. Justin Fuller, your winner of the Alabama 200, the LSRTV post-race show coming up next from Talladega, Alabama. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consolidated Cup Series on LSRTV and iRacing Live. City fans, back live for the LSRTV post-race show at the Talladega Super Speedway. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, topside with you. Cisco Scarmoose down in the production trailer after a thrilling ProGeek Cup Alabama 200. Justin Fuller going to be the magic man in front when the yellow flag comes out. And he'll be the winner of the 10th race and the third to last of this opening segment in 2016. Let's take a look at your ProGeek Consulted full field rundown presented by ProGeek Consulted LLC since 1998. ProGeek has been providing IT solutions to small and mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. Their strong work ethic and attention to detail allows them to provide the best solution for your needs. They specialize in a wide range of solutions, including infrastructure, networking, servers, storage, virtualization, security, virtual CIO, and IT strategy. ProGeek Consulting, proud title sponsor of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. Justin Fuller ends up victorious tonight. Ray Alfala, third consecutive second place finish. Trey Edson going to come home in third. We'll take an opportunity to try to talk to all of those top three finishers in a moment here. P4 tonight for Rich Jetty. A great finish for him and Adam Gilliland rounds out your top five. Only one of those drivers up inside the top five started this race top 10. That was Ray Alfala. Edson, Jetty, and Gilliland started 30th, 25th, and 29th, respectively. Behind them, Joshua Hanner coming on P6 tonight, 7th for Casey Tucker. Matt Boosa with the P8 finish from 32nd to 9th. And a quiet night, really. Joey Woods under the radar to get a top 10 out of this one. And rounding out your top 10 was the 36 of Bentley Glazer.
Josh Parker in the 18 up front for most of the first half of the race. He'll finish in the 11th spot. 12th goes to Chad Coleman. Matt Quick, another one of those guys leading a bunch of laps tonight. Caught up in that late race fiasco there in the backstretch. He finishes 13th. 14th goes to Joseph Gulata. E.J. O'Rourke will finish in the 15th spot. Tyler Dalton, 16th. 17th goes to Matthew Chafee. Jordy Lopez will finish in the 18th. Last car on the lead lap. John Wilco finishes 19th, and Tyler Tucker comes home 20th.
21st going to be Adam Benefield, Timmy Hill in 22nd. These drivers will finish out of the race at a couple of laps down. 23rd, John Gorlinski. Mitchell Hunt, 24th, with Jordan Hantower rounding out your top 25. Josh Jones, 26th. Jesse Kovacs, 27th. 28th, Chase Cabry. Kenny Baum Jr. in 29th, with J.D. Leard going to round out your top 30. And then Garrett Smithley, 31st. Austin Jones, 32nd. And Matthew Moose, 33rd. Going to put the bow tie on the field, and that wraps up your ProGeek Consulting full field race results. Now, down at Gatorade Victory Lane tonight, Justin Fuller. You can do it on the short tracks, you can do it on the big tracks. Your winner tonight at Talladega, the driver of the number 51, Justin Fuller. Make sure Ray Alfala is shut out of Victory Lane for a third week in a row, sir. Congratulations. We didn't know if that race was going to end with a caution flag at that point. We didn't know if we were going to go green all the way through the 78 laps, but you weren't waiting around to find out. You made the move, yellow flag dropped. If it came 3 seconds earlier, you would have been second. This one just ended up working out in your favor. Talk us through that charge to get back up to those guys late and then executed.
Oh, thank you very much. I've been racing here at ASCORS since the 2K3 days, and I've never won here, so this is the first for me. So it feels pretty good. All of us guys at Aftermath Motorsports, we all pitted together, and we decided we were going to take tires. And I don't think those guys that were out ahead of us took tires, so we were really behind on them. But we had more cars in our group, and we were able to run them down there. It took us a handful of laps, but when we finally got there, I felt as though our tires maybe had a little bit more of an advantage. They were getting tight. They weren't able to run through the corners as fast as we were, so I really feel like that's where we excelled at catching them and being able to pass them, because they were struggling a little bit on the bottom, I felt.
This was very different from what we saw earlier today with the NASCAR Sprint Cup guys. 2 caution flags, that final one that ends this race, but also we had that one earlier. We went back green, just about wrecked the field a couple of times, and then with that being said, through a cycle of green flag pit stops, everybody was really spread out. How did you gauge when the best opportunity would be to come down pit under green to make sure that you were in that lead pack of 9 cars late, as opposed to being with the guys that were 8 seconds or so off?
Yeah, talking back to the first caution, it was right in front of me. I don't know, I barely missed it. I have to go back and watch the replay and see how close I was. But we, Adam and Timmy and Trey, they came from the back of the field, and they finally worked their way up to the front there right before we pitted. and Adam was leading, and we all decided, well, we need to get to the bottom. We're going to pit here pretty soon, and we were catching a pack of cars. I don't know if they were damaged or they were just off the pace or what happened, but we decided that we were going to pit right before we caught them, and that was our gauge of pitting, because we didn't want to lose time having to race them guys and try to get around them. We felt as though that was going to be our best strategy to win the race.
So a strong race for you guys. You look forward to Talladega, obviously a race that we talk about where anybody has a chance. And then we were also commenting in the latter stages of that one that it was kind of funny how we talk so much about that, and then it's always the big names that are in there late in the conversation. For you guys, a couple of limited starts on the season. A good night for you guys. Second top 5. You get that first trip to victory lane. What's the outlook for the rest of 2016?
I'm going to run at tracks that I feel comfortable at. A lot of the cookie cutter tracks, I don't know, this car is just not fun to drive at all, really, unless it's on a short track or a super speedway. When it comes to cookie cutter tracks, it's just not fun to me. But we'll see. If we continue to have decent luck in this series, we might continue to run. We're in the chase technically if I run more races and finish this out and be wherever I need to be in points now. So we might actually, now that we got a win on our belt, we might run this season out. We'll see.
We look forward to seeing you the next time at the track, sir. But before we let you go tonight, the sponsors, the shout-outs, you know the routine. You're no stranger, I'd say, to victory lane tonight. But the first ASCORS win, who makes it happen for you?
I want to thank ASCORS, Brian Schoenberg, JD Laird, those guys putting on a great league. ProGeek Consulting for sponsoring the series. We got to thank our other series sponsors there for the other 2 series, Main Performance PC and SegPay. You guys here in the booth, LSRTV, doing a great job every week broadcasting these races. Everybody that we race with, it's a really fun league to be in. I've had some terrible luck here, but this makes up for all that. I want to thank all my teammates, Timmy Hill, E.J. O'Rourke, Adam Gillen, Trey Eaton. We worked great together tonight, and we ended up pulling out the win. Feels good.
You made it exciting there late, sir. Congratulations as always, and best of luck. Hopefully we'll see you back here on a Sunday night soon.
Thank you. Have a great night.
It is your winner tonight, the driver of the number 51, Justin Fuller, your winner from the Talladega Super Speedway. A P2 for Ray Alfala seems like a rough night by his standards. His 3rd consecutive runner-up finish. P2 tonight, Andy Kessler's with him.
That's right. I'm caught down here on the pit lane with Ray Alfala, and Ray able to come home with your 3rd straight second-place finish here. They've shut you out of victory lane here after a dominating first half of this 12-race little segment of the season here, and I guess second's not that bad, but when you've been winning as much as you have, I guess you'll take it.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I didn't know it was the 3rd one in a row, but yeah, we'll take it for the FLTech car at Talladega of all places. I was pretty conservative all night. There were guys making some pretty crazy moves, but I kind of saw that the highline wasn't working all that great, so I figured it was just better to stay low and. Kind of what we did, and we had a good pit stop at the end. Unfortunately, got caught right there by Justin and then kind of a small pack, and he took the lead, and then the yellow came out. So, hopefully, I wanted to race it till the end, see what we could have done, but second place at a plate track is always pretty good.
Oh, it definitely is. You got the win, obviously, in the season opener at Daytona. So first and a second at the plate tracks, not a bad way to do it. 2 more races, though, left in this first little segment. You almost got it basically sewed up as it is. But obviously, everything gets restacked in a couple of weeks. And talk about how that might or will not change the dynamic of the second part of the season.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much it'll affect it. I'll probably miss a few races. So, if I miss a few races and I still have like good finishes like I have this season, who knows? Maybe I can still be in contention, but I don't know. I'm not really thinking about that. Every part of the season has different tracks, so that's probably the biggest difference. It's just going to be a different group of tracks than the first season, so it could be totally different as far as results go. But I was paying attention a little bit to where Matt was, Matt Busa, throughout the race, but then you just kind of lose track of where people are, and once you start going 3 wide and and you start making pit stops and stuff at the end, you just kind of have to worry about your own race. But it was a good result.
It definitely was. Talking about 78 laps, though, only 2 cautions, of course, one coming out at the end there. So a lot of green flag racing for you guys here today, and that just goes a lot to show with the competition level and the ability of all these drivers in this series. It just makes for that much more of a fun race when you're not running at the caution so much.
Yeah, for sure. There were a few times where people got out of shape and they were able to make good saves. And it always kind of seems that the yellow comes out, within the last 5 laps, and it'd be nice if we had a green white checkered, but I thought overall it was plate races can be wreck fests, but we've seen Daytona went green for a long time, and this went green most of the time, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely was. Overall, it was a great night here. 2 more weeks left to go in this season, though. You find yourself comfortably out in the front now. And it's time for sponsors, shout-outs. Ray, who helps you get it done?
Yeah, AllFollowTech.com. If you're looking for a gaming computer, hit us up. Wendell Scott Foundation, StemSmex, Snowcone Productions, and Slip-Angle Motorsports. And, of course, shout-out to Casey Tucker and Josh Hanner. Worked with them during the race. And, I'll see you guys next week. I think it's at Kansas.
That's right. It is at Kansas, the high side. That's where everyone likes to run at that place. We'll definitely see a lot of fun and a lot of action next week's time. But, Ray, congratulations again. Third in a row, second place finish for you. Congratulations again.
Thanks. See you guys.
There you have it, our second place finisher. And I'm going to slide just a little bit over here, and I'm going to catch up with our third place finisher, and that, of course, was the number 1 of Trey Edson. Trey, congratulations. Solid run, starting 30th, way back in the field. Decided not to qualify for this one, but you were able to make your way through the field with some help, and you find yourself in the top 3 finish tonight.
Yeah, it was a good run. Another good points night. Just glad to run a clean race in this league. I've had it's definitely not been intentional, but I seem to have hit everyone and everything the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no matter what series it is, trucks, Xfinity, or GN, or Cup. But I owe that to my teammates. I really didn't do much racing all night. I just kind of stayed in line with them. Fuller did a great job. Adam and Timmy really helped me out because I don't do a lot of plate racing when it comes to the other series on the iRacing service, so I didn't really know what to do with this package and how you had to drive it. They explained it. It took me about half the race to figure it out. Then I butchered the green flag pit stop, and they lifted for me getting back up to speed. That way they wouldn't leave me. So, I mean, it's amazing that we were even able to recover from that and run Ray's pack down. And it just worked out. It was I wanted one of us to win, so it's good that Fuller was able to do it.
Yeah, it definitely was. Talking about that, obviously they slowed up for you. How important is having guys like that that'll do that for you, not leave you out there basically to dry? And it was good that they came back to catch up with you. And then on top of that, the 4 or 5 of you, I think it was in that little pack, you guys were able to run them down rather quickly, and it made it for a great finish.
Yeah, they had a really good plan. They're usually the second car in line. You start overheating, so we would cycle that out. I think. I was looking over the broadcast there a little bit. I think you guys were saying when Timmy was cycling to the back, you guys were, that's not what they're going for. That's not what they want. But we really weren't losing that much speed because, I mean, we were gaining 2 or 3 tenths a lap on that front pack when we would get lined up. So cycling through us and keeping the engines cool, and we were able to get there. Teammates are huge. Y'all know that at plate races. You kind of saw it. You know, if there was a 6-car train and the 6-car. I don't want to give any tips, but the 6-car can lose the draft easy. So having teammates that'll help you out in that stuff, it's just huge. I mean, you saw it all night long. People would lose the draft. It's so easy with this package. I don't know how they fix it or what they're gonna do, but it was crazy how quick you could be done for. But yeah, it was a great night for the whole team. I hate Timmy got torn up there at the end. I think EJ ran into some problems, but one of us is a victory lane. So that's the big picture when you come to a restricted plate race.
Well, that's exactly how it does, and a couple of you into the top, or 3 of you take over the top 5. So that's a great night overall for the team aspect of it. But Trey, third place finish here tonight. Sponsors, shout outs. Who helps you get it done?
I want to thank you guys, first of all, for broadcasting this to the world. You guys do a great job. Really just everybody at Aftermath. I've already kind of buzzed through them all with because they're all in here racing. I'd like to thank Brian and JD for the league. They also are jumping on board on the Peak Antifreeze Series car for me. They weren't at Richmond, and we didn't do very good, so they were on my car the first few races, and we did okay. So hopefully we can return to some decent results here next week when they're back on board. So I'll see you guys next Sunday.
Right, next Sunday at Kansas. We look forward to seeing you there, and congratulations again, third place tonight.
Thanks, guys.
There you have it, third place finisher, and I'm going to throw it back up to Evan.
Yeah, we go from Richmond to Talladega, and we've got Kansas and Dover left. As the final two with the opening 12 races, we'll go to segment number 2, and then later on down the line, segment number 3, going to be the chase for the championship. So with still plenty of racing to go, you could almost say that Ray Alfala has got this segment 1 win locked up, but it was an unconventional Talladega race. We did talk about the one yellow that ends the race, but over the course of the run that affected the strategy, one yellow early in the race, cycle of green flag, pit stops, everybody got spread out. There wasn't a big one, but there were only 9 cars in the lead pack at the end.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it was all basically that draft. And a couple of times they didn't come out cautious, but we saw guys get loose, touching the apron. That really caused the guys to check up that were behind them. And when you do that, you lose that draft, and you're basically done for. You got to get lined up in a single file line and try to make some ground up. So it took a while, and it took a toll on a bunch of guys there, a bunch of big names we saw after that happened that fell to the back, and almost to the point when the green flag pit stops happened, they were going a lap down. So it made it tough for those guys to be able to try to form their race up and get to the front. They really needed a yellow to gain them back up. So it really cost a lot of guys some solid finishes here tonight. But overall, I thought it was a great race, like we said, with just the one caution really. Right in the beginning, about 25 laps into it. But other than that, a fantastic race, another great race. We had a lot of green flag laps at Daytona in the season opener as well. So these guys just definitely the competition level, the ability of all these drivers to get it done at the restrictor plates like this is a really good feat.
We saw exciting racing last night in the USR All-Star event. They're going to be off next Saturday, but we'll see them in 2 Saturdays' time for the Coke 300. That broadcast information and more can be found on our website at www.livesimracing.com. As well, make sure to give us a like on Facebook. Stay up to date for the latest and greatest. That's facebook.com/livesimracing TV. So that draws round number 10 to a close. Talladega now behind us. We head off to Kansas in 1 week's time, and we hope that you join us then, as always, right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. So on behalf of the entire team at LSRTV LLC, and on behalf of myself, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, and producer Cisco Scaramuza, I want to congratulate Justin Fuller for the win in tonight's Alabama 200. And also want to thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week from Kansas. Until then, this has been LSRTV's presentation of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. This copyrighted broadcast is presented on the authority of LSRTV LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations, and it may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.